Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Jason, aka the Dad Next Door, and it's that time of the week again. Not that time of the month, not to be confused with that time of the month. You don't want to think like that, but yeah, Thursday night, the Dad Next Door show. Up next, we have a real estate investor, which, believe it or not, I am one too, and he's going to tell you all about his journey into the entrepreneur space in just a few moments. But first, let's take a look at this.
Be right back.
Fatherhood. It's how we keep our tribes and families strong. You've landed in the right place if you're ready for dad jokes, tips, and tricks on fun parenting. Also with interviews with some of the coolest dad entrepreneurs we could track down and have them share their strategies to tackling it all in business and life on the Dad Next Door. And now, your host, Mr. Dad Jokes himself, Jason Centeno.
Hi, Nana.
You ain't shy.
They don't show you it in action because things like this.
Oh, fix it. Fix it.
Look at that, two handsome dudes. Um, I don't even know if did I actually have audio for that beginning. I don't even know, but whatever. This is
Yes, it was. The audio was good.
okay. Wasn't sure, but hey, guys, this is Tim. Tim, introduce yourself to everybody. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
So Tim's a real estate investor, full time, right?
No, I mean, I actually run I run a business related to real estate investing full time and still invest part time.
Gotcha. So Tim, what's your story?
Okay, jumping right in. Well, I got started investing back in the early '90s. I was actually had just gotten married. My wife and I bought a duplex intentionally to eventually become a real estate, investment property. During that time, I was a CPA for a decade plus, a financial analyst. I was a stockbroker. I had all my insurance licenses. I was a loan officer. I did anything that related to money. I wanted to learn about it and get involved in it. So I started investing more actively in the late '90s. Was part-time for a while, then eventually quit my corporate job in 2000 to go full-time as a real estate investor. Did that for about 5 years. Did all kinds of different deals. Most of my deals probably were subject to, if you're familiar with that, basically means that a seller would sign over the deed to their house. We would make the payments. At the end of the active period, what I call my active period, I was working with a partner and we were going up to a military area to build a rental portfolio. And someone had showed me how to, view source code on the internet. So I got excited about that, was building out my buyer site, where I would buy properties. I was also working on a website for our local real estate club. And as I got more and more into the internet side of it, I was more excited about that than I was being an active investor. So it eventually transitioned full-time into a website called REI Club, I was building that out for people to invest in real estate.
So when did you transition from your actual, like you said, the banking stuff and all, like a 9 to 5 to like full-time entrepreneurship?
It was actually Veterans Day in 2000. It was 11/11/2000.
What was the significance of that?
It was purely accidental, but I had made a deal with some friends. I was kind of stuck. I was doing 1 to 2 deals a month. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week, corporate, and so I was doing real estate before work, during lunch, after work, on the weekends. And I was really struggling with this because all I ever really wanted to do was be a good husband and a good father. And now all of a sudden trying to go down this journey so I could do that, I wasn't really around. So I was having a lot of issues with that, but I was too fearful to just quit and go to real estate full time because, we had a nice house, we had cars, we had everything that we'd worked for, together. And I was scared to risk that. So eventually I made a deal with a couple of friends, and they got me to commit that as soon as I had 2 fix and flips in the hopper, that I would turn in my notice. So I once that happened, I went and turned in my notice, gave a 30-day notice. It happened to be October 11th. So my last day happened to be 11/11. And so, for me, it was really kind of cool because I didn't realize that when it happened, but November 11th, 2011, 11/11/11 was my 11th year of freedom.
You play that number at all? I'm just
I
curious.
should, now that I think about it, I should be playing that.
So the side hustle took over to the main hustle.
Yep.
Question: does entrepreneurship run in your family?
No, not really. Well, yeah, it depends on which generation. Yeah, my grandparents were. My mom tried it, went back to working for somebody else. So
What about like your father? Did he just had a regular gig?
he was not a business owner. He was a employee type.
So what did they think when you decided to talk about? I mean, first obviously your wife had to be convinced, but then families usually like, what are you gonna do? Or, what's that gonna be like? And all them kind of questions. Did you get any of that, or was it like just straight on encouragement?
Definitely was not straight on encouragement. I think there was just a lot of lack of clarity about what I was doing, especially the type of investing I was doing. Like they understood, buy a property, fix it up, sell it. They didn't understand wholesaling. They didn't understand creative finance on, owner finance type deals. So I think there was just confusion. So there wasn't encouragement, but there wasn't necessarily discouragement.
So when you left, in your arsenal, was it just like wholesaling and fix and flip, or were you doing sub twos at that time too? And that's a lot of people don't understand what that's all about either. So was it some of that, or were you still just not one trick pony, but like the standard kind of deal, the buy a deal, flip a deal, or BRRR kind of technique? What was when you made that transition? How much did you have in your tool belt, I guess is the best way to put that.
I was, like I say, I did it part-time for 18 months. Had studied it before that, and it's coming back around now. You'll hear the term transaction engineer, but in the late 90s, early 2000s, that's what everybody, all the gurus taught: be a transaction engineer, have plenty of tools in your toolbox so that you're able to solve the seller's problem, whatever it may be. So, and I actually got to the point where I was like, I really want to do one of every kind of deal. I mean, I tried to do note deals. I tried to do tax delinquent deals where I could find a property that had a billboard on it. And, so I was always chasing the type of deal, but I definitely favored creative finance and primarily subject to, because that just made sense to me.
Okay, so what's your top 3 favorite techniques then, like your go-to moves?
For acquisition?
Yeah.
Well, I like subject to for anything, because I mean, regardless of how you dispose of the property, if you can get the property with very little money out of pocket, and you get the ownership without having the liability of the debt, that's a great tool. Wholesale, I would say I probably was not real experienced as a wholesaler. I probably did 5 to 10 maybe. Fix and flips, probably the same thing, maybe 15 to 20. So, I mean, does that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like everybody's has their kind of favorite, like number one. Like you said, sub twos, or some people are just like wholesale everything and keep a few. Like wholesale 5, keep 1, build up that way.
Right.
Everybody has their little technique. Mine of the past few years was buy, hold, and Airbnb. And COVID kind of made that a little bit not so happy experience lately, but it's coming back. It's just these are the things everybody, like I said, has their 1 or 2 sweet moves, and then they kind of stay away from the rest and don't try to do those because like there's too many moving pieces, or for whatever reason, this or that. It's just like not your favorite technique.
Right. And it's interesting that you mentioned Airbnb, because my wife got interested in that and was about to start testing with one of our properties right when COVID hit. So,
well, it's decent to do. it's decent to do if you own it, because not too much can go wrong. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's more, you can make 3 times the money with two, but double the work. So you do make more money unless you have some great systems set up. It is more work because it's just like, you're in the hospitality business now. You're not just a landlord. You're like a concierge to a degree. So
Right.
you gotta love your customer to do that, and you just have to figure out who you want your customer to be, niche down, that kind of stuff. But like, that's a whole nother tangent to go on. How about your children? Any of them following in daddy's footsteps?
No, they're both young adults now, and although actually just today had a conversation with my youngest about he's considering the possibility of buying a duplex or fourplex to rent it, live in it and rent out the other rooms. I think they both know the importance that real estate will play in their future financial, the future of their finances, but they're not really asking a lot of questions at this point.
How old is the one that spoke about the duplex?
He's 22, and the oldest is 24. And like I say, they both know that real estate will be part of their portfolio and their plan. It's not really on their radar yet.
Yeah, I know I soured one of mine already. He's traumatized by going through some of the fixer-upper houses and some of the like getting fleas on them and seeing like holes in floors and
Yeah,
all kinds of nastiness. So he's like, I don't want to do none of that. So he's still young, but he's not. He does. It's not something that he's interested in at all.
yeah, I understand that because both of mine went through that as well. We learned muchas pulgas.
Pulgas, yeah. That's what it is.
Yep.
A whole lot of bugs. All right, weird question. What's one funny, weird, or amazing thing about you that most people don't know?
I got kicked out of high school as a senior for calling the principal a name. Well, let me give that some background. So at that time, my particular high school was the only one in the city that actually had an attendance policy, but I only needed government to graduate. So that was the only class I was going to. I was skipping the rest, and I got in trouble for missing classes, argued that was a really stupid policy because I only needed one class to graduate. They didn't care. I called the principal a name, got kicked out of high school, and actually ended up enrolled and attending college before I ever graduated high school. It was I've been in college for like 3 months before I actually finished the course, took the test, and graduated high school.
I guess you got that under the radar then, because I mean that sounds like
I guess they didn't check the transcript or confirm that I actually graduated. I don't know.
yeah, interesting. Pull the sneaky.
Yep.
All right. All right. So these next questions are just kind of to break up the room a little bit. Off the top of your head, I call them rapid fire questions. Just like I said, break up the mood a little bit. So if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Probably Bora Bora or Tahiti, because my wife keeps bringing that up as on the bucket list.
Got it. So for her, not for you. What about you? Where did you want to go?
I don't know. I've been wanting to see Costa Rica.
Yeah, me too. What's your dream job?
I think I have it. Creating things on the internet, helping people, being of service and contributing to others by just doing what I do. I mean, I'm pretty close to my dream job now.
I always wondered what it'd be like to be a kept man. Maybe one day I'll get to know.
Oh, find yourself a sugar mama?
So, yeah, it always sounded like a cool idea, but I don't know what's involved. I might have to ask a few people.
Well, if that's considered a job, that might be my dream job. I could totally rock that.
I think, see, now that I said it, it seems like, see, you know what I'm saying? Got to think outside the box a little bit.
Yep. Thanks for pushing me.
I planted the seed. Now there's inception, and one day I'm going to get a letter from somebody in your family that I should have never told you that. Are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a night person by nature, morning person by training. So I've finally gotten to the point where I go to bed at a decent hour and I wake up without an alarm. Once it kind of starts getting daylight, I'm usually waking up around 7 o'clock. So,
But when you work for yourself, you have to, like, especially with kids. I don't know. I mean, yours are older now, but that's the quiet time. So, excuse me, I'm more of a morning person nowadays. Unless there's a party, then I'm a night person. But that's the exception. What's your favorite hobby?
probably ping pong.
You and my mom. Her and jump rope and ping pong. It was always a weird thing to me. Did you ever see that Bruce Lee video with him and the nunchucks doing ping pong? You got to look that up on the internet. It's
I did
crazy.
not. I will.
Yeah, he's hitting them. You got to see it. And this was before special effects and what do they call that AI when they swap out your face? The deep. I forgot the
Deep fake. Yeah.
Before the deep fakes. Yeah, this was old. This is old, like 60s film.
But he was pretty much a beast at everything he did, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So what's the one thing that annoys you the most?
Blind. No. Can I have two?
You can have three if you want.
All right. Blind adherence to rules without thinking about the reason the rules were put into place. That would be one.
An example of that, like maybe like a stop sign in the middle of nowhere that people expect you to stop at, even though there's no cars coming either way.
Yeah, it's like just people that get all upset because you broke a rule, but whatever reason the rule was put into place in the first place has no impact on that actual situation, but it's against the rules.
Yep.
People that don't do what they say they're going to do.
Got it. Yeah.
And getting bounced around in a damn phone tree.
You're the guy who's trying to press 0 through the whole call.
Absolutely. I'm hitting 0. Customer service.
Yeah, or the pound sign, or you try to just do like, what do you call it, a roulette. Just try to find one number that gets you past all that. Yep. That is me as well. Man, we're pretty similar. How'd you end up at the REI Real Estate Influencers family reunion? There you go. How did you come into that circle? Because that's where we met briefly, and then up here. So I figured I'd ask you that too.
Well, I'd say so. Since I've been in the education space for 18 years now, we actually had a prequel to the family, reunion back in 08, 09. There was another event that we used to have every year where all the people in the space would get together. It was a blast, and then it kind of died out, and then Matt and Ross, kind of gave it a rebirth.
So this past year was the first rebirth since all that?
No, this was year 3, I think. This may have been third year. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wasn't the cool kid. I wasn't a cool kid, I guess. I don't know. But no, I just had heard about it when I moved to Tampa, so I was like, oh, cool. I'm definitely going. That was a good event, man. There's a lot of cool people there. So what is your dad's superpower? What daddy move do you got that nobody can beat you at? And it could be,
nobody can beat me at? Wow.
I mean, when you wear the number one dad shirt that you get every year from somebody in your family because they're not creative anymore. Like
I would say I started studying health stuff probably 15 years ago. And so my kids think I'm very strange because we do what I call PPP, pills, powders, and potions. So when they were in high school, they were forced to drink green smoothies, protein shakes and stuff. And the whole top shelf of our fridge is, like I said, different pills, powders, and potions that go into our, into our body and our drinks. And, once they got older, they politely declined, but they think that's interesting. It's like if they have issues, then they come to me for answers, but they don't want to do it on a regular basis.
Gotcha. All right. So on the other side of that, what is your dad kryptonite? The things that you struggle with most as a dad.
As a dad, being patient, seeing how hard my kids are making their lives when if they would just follow some of the simple advice that their father gives them, it would be so much easier. I guess my kryptonite would be as far as being a dad would be being able to get that information across to them in a way where they think it's their idea, and then they would actually do it, as opposed to what they call, pops preaching. So they don't like to hear pops preaching.
As I recall, when I was that age, I felt the same way, and then it took a while. But I want to say by the time I hit like the late 20s, I started to understand it more. And then, of course, when you have a child, it all makes a lot more sense. But till then, yeah, I don't think I read somewhere that the brain doesn't fully develop until you're like 25 years old, or you really know, like, you got a grasp on the world. Somewhere I read that. I don't know, but
Yeah, I've seen similar things.
yeah, that feels right. I mean, it feels like that's about where I started to kind of like not be so hard-headed about stuff and start to listen rather than fight everything just because it came out of my father's mouth. You know, whatever you say is the opposite. How do you handle that right now with them?
It's getting, like you said, it's getting easier now that they're 22 and 24, but they're still resistant, and for them, adulting is still something off in the future. Like there's a certain age, apparently, like maybe 29, I'm not sure what it is, where all of a sudden you're no longer a kid and you become an adult. I keep trying to explain it's actually a process and you should get started now, but they want to continue to make poor choices and justify it because they're young. I'm still young. I get to screw up right now.
Do you ever educate them on credit and how, like, that's when you mess it up when you're young, and how long of a, I mean, tell them, look, these people I'm getting subject to houses from, what do you think they did? Like, for that.
Exactly. Yeah. Fortunately, for the most part, for their age, they're fairly savvy with money and credit, and they grew up hearing all that, because I'm a numbers guy, so they grew up hearing lots of business and numbers type stuff. And that's kind of the interesting thing that you bring it up now, is like, we just talked about how they are resistant and pushed back. But when the situation changes and they get to use some of that knowledge or wisdom against me, it flows out of their mouth and brain really easily, and they use it back against me. So they are picking up some of it.
Wow. It's interesting. Well, like I said, I don't have them that age yet. I got 6 and they're nowhere near that. And there's no logic behind much of the stuff we're dealing with. But, I'm sure I'm going to be getting that soon. So what is your best piece of advice, like life advice, for other dad entrepreneurs, and just, you growing your 2 children, your 2 sons, and then, kind of just getting them to the point where they're even financially savvy, because even that alone is like a difficulty. Like you said, you're a numbers guy, but what if you're not a numbers guy and you got something that might, I don't know, some piece of advice you might have for other dad entrepreneurs? Pretend it's me. I got 3 sons, one's 16, and he's got no concept of money right now because of his mom, because she gives him everything. The other 2 have some, but yeah.
I would say a couple of things. Is one would be to realize, just like we're in the process of becoming, we're always becoming more than we were. They're in the same space. They're becoming more, but it may not be as fast as we would like them to be, but they're still becoming more. But as far as the educational side, you went to school at some point, probably. That the educational system does not give them the tools and skill sets to succeed as an adult. So make sure you put in the time to teach them all the things that you had to learn on your own, so they can learn it faster and succeed faster in life.
Yeah. I'm just sorry. I was just thinking of something and it kind of went off in my brain. So how about this? What's a dad stereotype, like, that you feel doesn't fit you? I'll give you an example. Like, with me, it's the grill. You know how dads are supposed to be like great on the grill. Oh, make some steaks and stuff like that. So there's like, oh, well, dads are supposed to be good at sports, or dads are supposed to be good fixing up the house. Like, what's one of those kind of typical dad stereotypes that's like, nah, that's not me. I don't do that.
And I make sure my wife's not in earshot. No, I'm joking. But yeah, my wife is the grill master, not me. I don't do that. Typically, it's the guys that are accused of being selective listeners. I'm actually a good listener. The guys are usually accused of not remembering dates. I actually am the person that remembers all the important dates. So I guess is that enough?
Yeah, I have a similar thing with the listening. My thing is I just say, listen, if you want me to remember it, write it, like let me write it down or put it on a list. Like don't send me to the store, get these three things and then start adding on and adding on and adding on. So I'm real simple. I just need you to like write
Give
it
me
down,
a list.
text it to me, right? Because and it's well, look, you do contracts, right? So if it's not on the contract, it's like it doesn't exist. And so there's always this argument. You don't listen to me. It's not that I don't listen to you. It's that you don't listen to you, and then you think that I didn't listen to you. So I want documentation. That's my piece of dad advice. Try to get a recording of everything, because otherwise you're always going to be on the bottom of that argument. Here's a biggie. How do you want to leave your mark in the world?
I don't know that I do, other than my family. I don't know that I don't have feel the need to like have some sort of legacy, like, oh, something that lives on after me, other than, if I can grow my sons, well, they're already good young men, but if I can grow them into, high quality people who have, loving families and that continues to spread throughout, then I think I will have done well.
I mean, that is a legacy. That's your name. But I get it. Like some people want to. I mean, I have an idea of what I want to do, but not everybody shares that. And then there's people who want to change the world. I want to make 100 millionaires, and I want to now. I just want to be there for my family and friends, and that's good enough too. You just be a good person and try to do all the good you can in life while you can, and worry about people versus what's the word I'm looking for? Goalposts or
Yeah, or tangibles. I think because like I said earlier, that was always my goal. Even as I was a weirdo as a teenager. I knew that all I cared about was having a happy family. That was the goal, is the goal, and will continue to be the goal. Because when you strip away a lot of the rest, that's what really matters.
Yeah, man. So tell some of my viewers might want to get in contact with you on the REI Club, and I know you have I'm gonna put it out right now. You got an offer to the viewers. Something you want to tell them about what it is?
Sure, I'll be happy to. Thanks for the opportunity. We have a package of forms for motivated sellers. So it includes a seller script, so that if you're fairly new and you need a reminder of specific questions to ask the seller, it's a seller information form where you can capture all the information about the property, the reason they're selling. And then there's also an hour-long audio with examples of how to talk to sellers. So it's kind of a bundled package on how to deal with sellers.
And this would be from beginners to intermediate kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't one of these high volume people, but I probably did 75 to 100 deals. I was still using, I used the seller form in every deal I did, just because it makes it easy to have all that information on one sheet.
What else is available on the site, if you don't mind me asking, as far as like they get that, and then like what else is there for them to, I guess they want more.
Okay, well, actually, I mean, it's actually a huge website with thousands of articles and videos and tools and resources on how to invest in real estate. We've got a Facebook group called the Unemployables. That's our tribe name. So it's, if you're looking for a community to help you invest in real estate, if you're looking for education on how to invest in real estate, reiclub.com is a great place to start.
I need to see that shirt again. Let me see that again. Let me see that logo. All right, so I'll send you my address. I need one of those.
What size?
Probably a large, medium, or large. I have to figure. How do they run? What size? Like they run big?
They run slightly small, but pretty close.
Probably a large then. Yeah, so I can rep your set. All right, so you know what time it is, right? You ready for this? Ready for the big finale, the dad joke? You got that?
Okay, are we ready for that?
Yeah, we're ready for that. We ready? Okay. Wait. Now, hold on. Are you ready, or do you got something else you want to say? Like,
No, I'm good. I'm good.
how about two dad jokes? Or just
No, don't push it.
2 for 1. All right, let's hear it.
All right. So, do you know why you cannot hear a psychiatrist going to the restroom?
I do not have any idea.
Because the P is silent.
Wow, it's like yeah. I heard a different version of that, and you remixed it. Yeah, I'm gonna. So you did it. You got through this. How'd you feel? I know you're not big.
It was easy breezy.
All right. Hope I made you feel comfortable. So that's it for Tim. Thank you for sharing that with us, guys. Make sure you go check out his offer if you didn't see it. Let me make sure you check it out one more time. The form is right there, and I think it'll be also embedded in the description of this video in case you missed that. So thank you very much, Tim, and I look forward to seeing you or talking to you on Clubhouse or wherever we are, or at the next event or wherever else we end up bumping elbows again. Thank
Sounds
you very
good.
much.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. All right, ready?
Why is it all the way over there?
Caleb, you see that fish? You're going to have to crane your head to see them. Wait. What do you call a fish? What do you call a fish with no eye?
I don't know.
Fish.
Huh?
2 dad jokes for the price of 1. I'm sorry I had to get my 1 dad joke in for the week. I thought that was funny. So you got to see one of mine. But yeah, hopefully you liked what Tim had to say. And wanted to add one last thing for my viewers. Let me make sure I get this little thing up for you so you can check it out. Yeah, so when I'm not doing this show, when I'm not wrangling kids or teasing the gator in my backyard, I actually run a pretty cool little mastermind group of entrepreneurs where we get to help each other in our business and in life. So if you're interested, you could win a chance to you can have a chance to win a 30-day scholarship to our mastermind, which is worth $2,000. So just text the word mastermind to this number, 305-602-3632, and your name will be entered into a monthly drawing, which I believe will be on the next show. So we'll have the old Spinner-Rooney going for that. So that's it. I think that's a wrap for all you dads, you entrepreneurs, and all the other sexy people still up at this time of the night. If you like what you heard, and if you like what you heard, don't forget, show up next week at 9, and I'll be here with another dad entrepreneur for you to enjoy, just like this one. Well, then, that's it for me. Take care, comb your hair, and I'll see you on the next one. Daddy out.